You're exhausted. You carry a burden that was never meant for you to carry alone. There are nights you lie in bed, but your mind won't shut off. There are mornings you wake up already tired before the day even begins. You smile at your family, pretend everything is fine, but inside you are begging for an answer that hasn't arrived yet. And that is exactly why you opened this video right now. It wasn't by chance. It wasn't the algorithm. It was God. Today, at this very moment, God has a specific message for you. And that message is one: trust in my power because I am in control of your life. It sounds simple, but I guarantee you, when you truly understand what lies behind those words, everything changes. Your anxiety lessens. Your decisions become clearer. And that tightness in your chest that you feel at the end of every month, every Sunday night, every time you look at your account balance, every day the bill arrives, that tightness begins to fade. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you 3 things. First, the clear signs that you are trying to control what does not belong to you. Second, the spiritual and psychological reason why you fell into this trap. And third, the practical path, what God is asking you to do right now to finally enter into the rest He has prepared for you. Stay until the end, because the most important part comes when you least expect it. Before we continue, write the word confio in the comments, just that. This word is a seed, a spiritual declaration. When you write it, you take a stand. You say to heaven, I am here, I am willing, I want to hear. And while you're at it, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Because what God wants to tell you in the next videos is serious, and I don't want you to miss a single word. Let's go to the first part, the symptoms. If you identify with at least one of the following signs, pay attention, because it is not a coincidence. It is heaven alerting you. The first symptom is sleep that doesn't refresh. You lie down, close your eyes, but your head keeps working. Reviewing bills, conversations, plans, problems, your mind has become an office that never closes its doors, and then you wake up tired, irritable, and pretend everything is fine in front of others. This, my friend, is not just stress. It is your spirit screaming because you are trying to carry what was not meant for you to carry. And look, if you felt a different tightness in your chest when I described this scene, I need to tell you something serious. This discomfort you feel right now is not just emotion. It is confirmation. Something greater pulled you into this message. And this is spiritual responsibility. It may be that God is calling you to be the one who will sustain faith within your home, the one who will protect your children, parents, and spouse when the storm truly arrives. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you. It is called Como saber se Deus vai te salvar no juízo final. This material will show you the signs that indicate whether you are truly aligned with God's heart, or if there are still areas of your life that need to be surrendered before it is too late. The link is pinned in the description below and at the top of the comments. Many mothers have messaged me saying they started sleeping in peace again after this book. Fathers who stopped carrying the world alone. This video could be taken down at any moment. Do not leave for later what God is putting in front of you right now. If this message is touching your heart, comment below with just one word, Amen. This simple gesture is a seal between you and heaven at this very instant. Back to it. The second symptom is irritation out of proportion. Small things set you off. Traffic at the end of the day, the bank line, the internet lagging during a meeting, a child who didn't do their homework, a husband who forgot to take out the trash, a wife who asked the same thing 3 times, you explode. Then you feel guilty. You apologize. The next day, you explode again. This is not a lack of patience. It is your spiritual system in collapse. When the cup is full, any drop makes it overflow. The third symptom is joy that doesn't last. You reach a goal, you receive a compliment, but the happiness lasts 5 minutes. Soon comes the next worry, the next bill, the next problem. You live on autopilot of fear. And where fear rules, joy cannot stand. Along with this comes the feeling that you need to do more. More work, more effort, more plans, more rushing. You feel that if you stop for a second, everything will collapse. And this feeling pushes you into a chronic fatigue that not even the weekend can cure. The fourth symptom, and this is the most painful one, is the feeling that God is distant. You believe, sure, you attend church, listen to sermons, read the Bible. But inside you, there is a quiet voice whispering, does he still hear me? Does he care? Have I tired him out so much that he gave up on me? Calm down, because now I am going to tell you a truth that will unlock your mind. All these symptoms are not your weakness. They are not a lack of faith. They are not punishment. They are simply the natural signal of someone trying to occupy a chair that never belonged to them, the chair of control, and that chair was always God's. When you sit in it, even without realizing it, you disrupt the entire order that heaven had prepared for your life. And that is exactly why so many Brazilians today, inside their own homes, are exhausted. They sat in a chair that was never theirs and forgot the way out. You who are here now are being called back to your place. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, Como Saber Se Deus Vai Te Salvar no Juízo Final. The link is pinned in the description and at the top of the comments. Do not leave for tomorrow what heaven gives you today. Your family needs you whole. Now we enter the second part of the video, and this is the part that nobody tells you clearly. The causes. Why did this happen to you? Why did you, who have always been a person of faith, end up becoming a worker for your own fatigue? The answer will surprise you. The first cause is the culture of control. We live in a country where everything is unstable. The economy goes up and down, the government changes, the dollar skyrockets. The price of rice at the market doubles from one week to the next. Brazilians over 35 have lived through it all. Economic plans that confiscated savings, inflation that ate the salary before the end of the month, global financial crises, pandemic. You learned that to survive, you have to control everything. You have to have plans A, B, C, and D. You have to foresee the future. You have to be proactive. And this logic of survival was so strong in your generation that it became a spiritual armor. You got used to trusting more in your own control than in divine providence, and the worst part, without even realizing it. You thought this was faith. It was just fear disguised as responsibility. The second cause is comparison. You open WhatsApp, you open Instagram, you open Facebook, and you see everyone apparently living well. That neighbor traveled to Gramado. Your cousin bought a new car. Your co-worker showed off the kitchen renovation. A friend's child passed a competitive exam. And you stay there on your couch thinking you are behind, that you are doing it wrong, that you need to run faster. And you start to push your life into a rhythm that isn't your own. You step out of God's timing and into the world's timing. And the world's timing charges a high price. It charges with anxiety. It charges with insomnia. It charges with depression. It charges with high blood pressure. It charges with diabetes. It is no wonder that these problems have exploded in Brazil among people in your age group. The third cause is the lack of trust in small miracles. You were taught to wait for the big miracle, the big turnaround, the big answer. So you spend the whole day asking God for the miracle of the promotion, the new house, the restored marriage, the definitive cure. And meanwhile you let the small miracles go unnoticed. The fact that you woke up today, that you managed to pay the electricity bill last month, that you have a plate of food on the table, that you have a bed to sleep in, that you have someone who loves you, even with your difficult ways. Small miracles are God's alphabet. Whoever doesn't learn to read the alphabet will never be able to read the entire sentence of their own life. The fourth cause is untreated trauma. And this is painful to hear, but you need to hear it. Perhaps you grew up in a house where you had to be strong since you were a child. Perhaps your father was absent, or drank too much, or was violent. Perhaps your mother carried the world on her back, and you learned, out of pure survival instinct, that if you don't take care of everything, everything collapses. This child who learned to control became this adult who cannot stop. You don't have a problem with faith. You have an old wound that needs to be healed. And God today wants to begin that healing. He is not judging you. He is calling you to be healed. The fifth cause, and this is the key that unlocks everything, is the confusion between responsibility and control. Look closely. Being responsible is doing your part with integrity. Controlling is trying to also do the part of others, God's part, and the part of destiny. Responsible is working honestly. Controlling is wanting to guarantee the result. Responsible is raising a child with love. Controlling is wanting to choose their future. Responsible is taking care of your health. Controlling is trying to foresee every illness. You confused one thing with the other. And that confusion led you exactly where you are today. Tired, anxious, with the feeling that God is distant. And here, exactly at this point, I need to pause for a moment. Because what I have just described, the child's trauma, the armor of control, the confusion between responsibility and dominion, these are layers of the same spiritual wound that many people carry their entire lives without ever being able to name it. And you are naming it now. You are recognizing it now. And recognition is the first step of liberation. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you. Como saber se Deus vai te salvar no juízo final? No. This book will take these very points that are bleeding inside of you and show with spiritual clarity what needs to be surrendered, what needs to be healed, and what needs to be left behind before time runs out. The link is pinned in the description below and at the top of the comments. Click while the flame inside you is still lit, because this spiritual window doesn't always stay open. Comment below with the word Liberto. This is your first public step on this new walk. Now we move to the third part, which is the most important of all, the solution. What is God asking you to do today from now on to finally enter the rest He prepared for you since before the world existed? The solution begins with a decision. A simple decision, but one that changes everything. You need to get out of the chair that was never yours. First step, stop and name it. Take paper and pen tonight before bed. Write at the top of the page, "These are the things I am trying to control and that do not belong to me," and start writing. It could be your child's future. It could be your husband's heart. It could be your father's health. It could be the result of that test you took. It could be your boss's decision. It could be your daughter-in-law's behavior. It could be the neighbor's opinion. It could be your daughter's marriage. It could be the recovery of that brother who got lost. Write it all without filter. Each item on that list is a chair of God's that you sat in without permission, and as long as you are sitting in them, heaven cannot act, because you are occupying His place. Second step, conscious surrender. After writing the list, pray a simple prayer. It doesn't need to be elaborate. It doesn't need beautiful words. It doesn't need fasting or a holy hour or an empty church. It can be right there in the kitchen with a dish towel in your hand. Say it like this: Lord, I recognize that these things do not belong to me. I give you back the control. I return to my chair as a son, a daughter, a servant. Do it in me and through me, and that's it. That is it. The simplicity of this prayer has a power that religion often hides. You don't need to convince God of anything. He already knows. He is just waiting for you to get out of the way. Third step, the daily practice of letting go. Every day upon waking, you say a phrase to yourself. It can be out loud. It can be in your thoughts. It can be written on a sticky note on the bathroom mirror. The phrase is this: today, I take care of what is mine. God takes care of the rest. And throughout the day, whenever that tightness comes, whenever that anxiety appears, you repeat it. Today, I take care of what is mine. God takes care of the rest. It seems like little. It seems childish. But this is how the brain relearns. This is how the soul reorganizes. This is how peace returns to dwell within you. Neuroscience has already proven that phrases repeated with intention change deep circuits. Faith has proven this for millennia. Fourth step, the celebration of small miracles. Every night before sleeping, you thank God for 3 small things that happened that day. It could be the delicious coffee you had. It could be your child's hug. It could be your mother's smile on the phone. It could be the bus driver who waited for you. It could be the sun that appeared after the rain. It could be the parking spot you found at the grocery store. 3 things. Only 3. This exercise seems silly, but it reopens the eyes of your soul. It takes you out of control mode and puts you into gratitude mode. And where there is gratitude, fear can no longer stay. Fifth step, daily silence. Here is one of the most powerful and ignored spiritual secrets of our time. You need to create 10 minutes of silence in your routine. No phone, no television, no radio, no podcast, no music. Just you and God. It could be in the morning before coffee. It could be after lunch in the yard. It could be at night before bed. 10 minutes still in silence, listening. You will find it strange at first. Your mind will wander. It will want to think about 1,000 things. No problem, just return and return and return. In 3 weeks, you will feel a difference in your peace that no money can buy. In 3 months you will be another person inside, even if on the outside no one notices yet. 6th step, transformed prayer. Instead of asking so much, you will start surrendering. Instead of saying, "Lord, do this for me," you will say, "Lord, I give you this." Instead of trying to direct God, you will learn to let yourself be directed by Him. And when this change happens within you, your prayer becomes power. It becomes intimacy. It becomes presence. It becomes what it was always meant to be. Not a request counter, but a meeting room between the child and the Father. 7th step, cutting off comparison. Lower the time on social media. You don't need to delete everything, but you need to reduce it. Every hour less you spend watching others' lives is 1 hour more you gain to live yours. Compare your today with your yesterday, never with someone else's today, because you don't know the other person's yesterday. You don't know how much they cried to have what they have. You don't know how much their life hurts inside, even if it looks perfect on the outside. Compare your today with your yesterday and celebrate every inch of progress. And look, I want you to engrave this in the depths of your heart. God is not asking you to be weak. He is not asking you to be irresponsible. He is not asking you to stop taking care of your family, your work, your home. He is only asking you to stop carrying what was never yours to carry. He is calling you back to the lightness you lost way back when you were still a child and believed in heaven without questioning. Think about one thing. How many times in your life did you worry about things that never happened? How many nights lost with scenarios that never materialized? How many mental fights with people who didn't even exist yet? How many strategies for battles that were never fought? Do a quick calculation. It could be years. Years of your life spent with ghosts. And meanwhile, real life, with its real joys, passed by without you noticing. The children grew up. The parents aged. The seasons changed. And you remained there, holding on to what was never yours to hold. God is saying to you now, enough. That's enough. I know you. I know the measure of your strength. I know the measure of your fears. I know what you don't tell anyone. I know about your sleepless nights. I know about the dreams you kept in a drawer. I know about the forgiveness you never managed to give. I know about the hurts you still carry. And even so, I chose you. Even so, I am here. Even so, I am in control of your life. And what I am doing, even when you don't see it, is good. It is too good. The difference between those who live in peace and those who live in pieces is not the amount of problems. It is the amount of surrender. Those who surrender more live lighter. Those who hold on to everything sink. Look around you. Look at your family. Look at your neighbors. Look at your co-workers. You will notice that there are people living through trials much greater than yours and with a peace that seems supernatural. It is not luck. It is not genetics. It is not money. It is surrender. It is trust. It is rest in God's will. Can you imagine yourself a year from now living like this? Waking up without that weight on your neck, looking in the mirror without that shadow in your eyes, talking to your children without losing your patience over every little thing, going to work without that knot in your stomach, looking at your bank balance without panicking, looking at the bill without trembling, going to sleep without your brain running a spreadsheet. This is possible. This is for you. And it starts today with this message that God put in front of you. Now I want you to answer one thing, within yourself. In silence, which chair of God's are you sitting in today? It could be just one. It could be several. Don't think too much. The first one that comes to mind is the true one. That is the one God is asking you to vacate first. And when you vacate it, you will feel a lightness you haven't felt in a long time. A lightness that doesn't come from the outside. It comes from above. And pay attention to one last truth. Trusting in God does not mean everything will turn out the way you want. It means everything will turn out the way it needs to. There are things you ask for and God says no, because He is sparing you from a greater problem. There are things that take time because He is preparing you for an answer greater than you imagined. There are things that change form because He is opening a path you didn't even know existed yet. Trust is not blind. Trust is informed. It knows who God is. And whoever knows who God is rests. I know that much of what I said today may be hitting sensitive points. It may be stirring up old wounds. It may be bringing back memories you had tried to forget. But that is good. That is process. That is God working while you listen. Don't block it. Let it flow. Cry if you need to cry. Sigh if you need to sigh. Breathe deep. What is happening in there is spiritual surgery. And every surgery requires that we stay still and let the surgeon work. I want to remind you of some stories from the Bible itself, because they have everything to do with what you are living. Remember Joseph. That young man who was sold by his own brothers, became a slave in Egypt, was imprisoned unjustly, and spent years forgotten in jail. If he had had access to internet videos back then, he probably would have opened the video saying, "Guys, God abandoned me." But God had not abandoned him. God was preparing the palace while he was in the dungeon. And when the time arrived, Joseph became governor of Egypt and saved his own people from famine. Everything that looked like destruction was preparation. Can you see this in your own life? That unemployment that looked like the end and that led you to a better path. That betrayal that seemed to kill you and that freed you from a small life. That difficult child who you think came to punish you and who in reality came to teach you a patience you would never have alone. Remember Hannah, mother of Samuel. She spent years unable to have a child, crying in the temple, and others thought she was drunk. But it was prayer. It was surrender at the deepest level. And when she finally surrendered for real, saying, "Lord, if the child comes, he is yours," she became pregnant. Have you truly surrendered what you are asking for? Or do you only ask while thinking you are surrendering? Surrendering is different from asking. Asking, you are still holding on. Surrendering, you let go. Remember Jesus himself in Gethsemane. He knew what was ahead. He knew about the cross. He knew about the pain. And even so, in the midst of the sweat of blood, he said, "Not my will, but yours be done." That is the point. That is the secret. It is not about not having fear. It is about trusting even with fear. It is about letting go even while wanting to hold on. It is about going down even while wanting to go up. It is about letting God be God instead of trying to be God for him. I want to speak directly to you now, you, mother who is hearing this and who carries the house on your back because your husband doesn't help the way he should. God saw. He knows. And he is calling you to surrender this husband instead of trying to change him. You take care of your heart. He takes care of his. You father who is hearing this and who feels like a failure because the money doesn't stretch, because your child grew up rebellious, because you think you failed in raising them. God saw. He knows. And he is telling you that your value is not in how much you can provide. It is in who you are. And who you are even in the midst of error is too precious. Surrender this child. Surrender this money. Surrender this fatigue. You woman who is hearing this after a painful separation, thinking no one will want you anymore, that your life is over, that it is too late for you. God saw. He knows. And he is telling you that the best chapter of your story hasn't even begun. Surrender this past. Surrender this shame. Surrender this fear of starting over. You man who is hearing this after many years of being silent, without crying, without complaining, without sharing with anyone the weight you carry, God saw. He knows. And he is giving you permission today to be fragile in his presence. You don't need to be strong all the time. You need to be human. And humans rest in the arms of the Father. Surrender this silence. Surrender this mask. Surrender this stored-up fatigue. And you, retiree, who is hearing this and feels that life has become just waiting for the children to call, waiting for Sunday to pass, waiting for time to run out. God saw. He knows. And he is telling you that there is still a mission to fulfill. There are still seeds to plant. There is still faith to leave as an inheritance. Surrender this loneliness. Surrender this feeling of uselessness. You still have much to do. Let's go to one last truth, and this one is the golden key to everything. When you trust in God, you don't become passive. You become a partner. There is a gigantic difference between crossing your arms and resting in his will. Crossing your arms is laziness. Resting in his will is active faith. You continue working, but without the anxiety. You continue planning, but without the desperation. You continue loving, but without manipulation. You continue dreaming, but without obsession. The effort continues. The anguish vanishes. This is the life God promised. This is the life that few discover. And today, you are being invited to enter it. And hear closely what I'm going to tell you now, because this is the key that perhaps no one has ever put in your hands. God does not ask you for trust because He doubts your effort. He asks you for trust because He wants to spare you from a life wasted on worry. He has already calculated every cent of your account. He has already counted every hair on your head. He has already measured every step of your path. He has already prepared every door you are yet to walk through. What is missing is not Him acting. What is missing is you resting. Imagine a child in the father's lap inside the car on the road. The child doesn't ask every 5 minutes, "Dad, will the tire pop? Dad, will there be traffic? Dad, will the engine hold up?" The child sleeps, leans their head on the father's chest and sleeps. Why? Because they trust, because they know there is someone greater driving. You grew up, became an adult, learned to drive, and forgot how to sleep in the lap. God is calling you today to relearn, not to stop driving your car, but to stop driving His car. And perhaps you are sitting there thinking, "I would even like to trust, but it is difficult. I have trusted so many times and was disappointed. I have surrendered so much, and it seems nothing changed. I understand you. I know it hurts. But pay attention to one thing. The disappointments you had were not with God. They were with people, with situations, with expectations you created. God has never truly disappointed you. What happened is that you expected an answer in format A, and He gave it to you in format B. You expected the miracle on Wednesday, and it came on Saturday. You expected to be healed, and He healed you in a different way, perhaps deeper, perhaps still under construction. Rewind the movie, look back, retell your story, and you will see that every time you swore God had vanished, He was only silent, preparing the next move. I want to give you a final word today for you to carry for the rest of the week. When fear hits, and it will hit, you take a deep breath and say, out loud, even if no one is listening, God is in control, I am not, and that is okay. Repeat this. Repeat it always. Repeat it until it becomes instinct, because this phrase is a key that opens the door to rest, and rest is the place where heaven lives. You listened until here. This by itself is living proof that this message is yours. God brought you to the last word on purpose. It wasn't by chance, it was a summons. And now He puts the key in your hands. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, Como Saber se Deus vai te salvar no juízo final. This material is the direct continuation of what you heard today, in depth, with every step detailed. The link is pinned in the description below and at the top of the comments. Click now, don't wait for tomorrow. Don't. Tomorrow your heart might be colder. Today it is open. And an open heart is an altar ready to receive. Comment below with the word entrego. This is your public agreement with heaven at this very instant. And remember, God is in control. He always was. He always will be. And while He is in charge, nothing that is yours will be lost.